Welcome to the Non-Nerd Sports Podcast, episode 13, the home of sports talk for everyone. I'm David.
I'm Jason.
Welcome aboard. Now, we all know this weekend is Super Bowl weekend. Always a time to see who's going to be crowned. This is the season finale.
Yeah. Well, by the time most people are listening to this, it's either going to be right before the Super Bowl or after the Super Bowl. So
yeah.
The results will probably be out by the time most people listen to this, but hopefully we at least give them some good information either way.
Yeah, I mean, either way, it's always interesting to see like how the teams go into the Super Bowl, like how they got there, and some of the games that happened during the playoffs, because some of the games in the playoffs were really good this year and really shocking. That was definitely a surprise for, not only myself watching it, but I know a few other people that I've talked to. So it should be good. Now, I know Super Bowl is people always love watching the commercials and things like that. That's always always a big thing for them.
Right.
Because what was it? Budweiser always had one? Bud Light, Budweiser?
Pepsi. Budweiser normally does the Clydesdales, and then Bud Light does something else. And I know Pepsi and Coke aren't doing commercials this year.
Yeah, I heard that. So that's going to be interesting.
I would say the memorable one from Budweiser was the frogs.
Oh, I love those. Oh, those are fantastic.
And what's up?
Oh yeah,
that's over 20 years old now.
There has been some memorable commercials out there. Like the Doritos ones were normally good.
I believe the Cindy Crawford Pepsi one was a Super Bowl commercial.
I think it was too.
Might have been a bathroom break afterwards. I don't know.
Oof. Oh man, that's wrong.
Excuse me, Mom.
What are you doing in there?
Nothing. Okay, we need to move. We're deviating. We haven't started yet. Jesus.
Oh, shocking. All right, on to the first period. The road to Super Bowl Sunday. Like I said, there's a lot of good games, a lot of surprising games that happened over the first round, the wild card round. Just a few to start with. We categorized at least two games from each round that really gave a big wow factor.
Right.
Like, let's say I have the shocking upset of the. See, I picked the Browns and the Steelers. I know a lot of people will pick that one too as a shocking upset, just because of it's the Browns. When was the last time the Browns even did anything?
Right, but the Browns looked solid this season, all things considered.
But again, what are the chances of them beating the Steelers in the first round in the wild card? I didn't think it was going to happen.
With the way the Steelers were playing leading up to that game, it wasn't looking great for the Steelers. And the Browns were hot at the moment, and there's something to be said about a team going into a game hot and on a roll. And let's call it what it is. The Browns were just dominant in that first quarter.
Oh, absolutely. They didn't just. It was no holding back. They went balls to the walls and went took them to school. I mean, at that point. But still, it's the Browns. Nobody expects the Browns to do anything. Nobody expected the Browns to make the playoffs. Nobody expected any of that.
Right,
but then to come out and actually do something like this, I think is fantastic.
It is fantastic, and it's great for. I mean, the Browns have an extremely loyal fan base who've been with them through more thin than thick.
Yeah, then that's an understatement.
But I mean, let's be honest about the Steelers. That they had 5 turnovers in that game. This was not an A-team Steelers. This was a beaten down team going into that game. They went from undefeated to losing how many games in a matter of succession? I think it was like 3 in a row.
Yeah, it was looking good for them.
So
if you think,
go ahead.
But the first quarter was 28-0. First quarter alone.
Right.
So, I mean, now don't get me wrong, the Steelers tried to come back in the second half to make it a game, but it was just too far gone.
That's almost like a case where it's a mental part where you're so far out of it even if
Well,
you
they
do
went
get
mental, all
close.
right.
It's just harder to come back sometimes.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you're down a large, by a large amount right at the beginning, that's just going to throw you for a loop. I know I played hockey games where I was down for quite some time, and even in the first period, and it was just hard to come back to even make it close.
I mean,
We'd end up losing, but it was just hard to make that happen. And for them, it was probably the same thing. It just took them right out of the game.
you forget that when I played soccer, my final season was defeated. There were no wins, David.
I was going to say, yeah, but I know that. I mean, soccer team had how many losing seasons? I should say, how many seasons without a win?
We were the last one. The season after us won a game.
But how many before you, though?
Oh, I don't know anymore.
Quite a bit.
Let's see. Was my season the 5th year of the program at that point? I think so, because I think it was, something like that, 5th or 6th year. So,
yeah, that was definitely not a good run.
A kid set a record, most unanswered goals against one team. So,
yeah,
that's what happens when your coach has you run to the game on a highway and then feeds you donuts and Coke to keep you energized during the game.
Well, isn't that how you do it? Sugar and caffeine, why not?
No wonder we were freaking sluggish and one kid scored like 16 goals on us. Holy hell.
Hey, why not? So from that game, we have the closest game, which was the Bills and the Colts, 27-24. That was a game to watch.
The end of Phillip Rivers' career. Him and his 47 children. Sorry, it was a layup. I had to take it.
Why not? Hey, it's there. Take it. But no, I mean, between the two quarterbacks, they had stellar games. They each had 2 touchdowns, each for throwing over 300 yards, and for it to be that close was a game to watch. It was a back and forth bout, and just shocking the Bills came out with it. I mean, because Bills was one of those teams like the Browns, you really didn't expect them to do much because how many times years before they don't make it to the playoffs or they just have a horrible season.
Right. There's a connotation on the Bills dating back to their Super Bowl blunders of the 90s.
Blunder, is that what you're calling it?
Yeah, blunders.
Okay.
But, I mean, I
call it a foobar, but we'll go with blunders.
They have a really great quarterback right now, and he's definitely involved in leading that team and part of why this team was as good as it was this season. So I'm not taking anything away from Josh Allen. I'm saying he's probably a big reason why they did perform as well as they did. But it was a very close game. I mean, if you look at the box score for the game,
it was back and forth.
Back and forth.
I think Josh Allen, like you said, led this team to what it is. I mean, his playoffs alone was 5 touchdowns and 1 interception. He had 5 touchdown passes with 1 interception.
Right.
With coming from a team that hasn't seen a playoffs in a long time to this, I think that's a good start for the Bills to kind of rebuild to bounce back into that form of what they were in the 90s.
Right.
Maybe at one point bringing something home instead of going 4 straight without winning. Yeah.
Right.
That's here or there. So, but yeah, that's definitely was a good close game to watch. It was definitely entertaining, which is what you want to see in a playoff.
Yeah, when it comes to playoffs, any sport, you want to see a hard-fought game. I mean, I'm just speaking for myself as a fan, and I think you agree with me on that. Playoffs in any sports, you want to see 2 teams fighting it out to the end.
Oh, absolutely. Just because it's the playoffs. I mean, I always consider playoffs as the second season. You know, you could barely make the playoffs and win the whole thing.
Right.
You can become the final seed of any, in a playoffs of any sport and win the whole thing right out. Because that's what the Kings did, I think, in 2011-2012 season. They were the 8th seed.
Right. You've talked about that.
Thing.
They ground it out and took it
won
home.
The whole thing. I remember watching that game, watching them raise the cup, and I had one of my daughters on my lap as I was rocking her to sleep. She was 3 weeks. No, not 3 weeks. I
was going to say it couldn't be 3 weeks.
Well, no, I was thinking when I got a text message from you saying when your daughter was being born.
Well, that would be about 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking of there. But it was about 6 months.
Sounds about right.
You know, she was 6 months old when I was doing that, and I was like, well, she's watching her first game. So, but yeah, no, those, in the wild card, the upset, the Browns over the Steelers, because nobody expected the Browns to do much of anything in the playoffs, being they haven't been there for who knows when. And the most entertaining watch of the wild card was, the Bills over the Colts, 27-24, which was, to me, a great shootout.
Yeah, I agree.
So then when you move on to the divisional, the Chiefs and the Browns. Now, it's kind of a layup for the Chiefs because of the way they've been going, the way they've been for the past now 2 years. I expected the Browns not to get past them.
Right.
But
and that goes more with the reputation the Browns have than anything else.
But I think what made it shocking the most is that it was a close game. It wasn't a complete blowout like a lot of people probably would have thought. I mean, 22-17, they were a score away from winning it. But Things happened in the game, didn't happen. Chiefs ended up winning. But the fact that the Browns kept up with them. The Browns played to that level, which says a lot about how they're building that franchise.
So since we're talking about the Browns, something that I noticed this week, and I just want to touch upon quick. And I saw it on the Uniwatch website and on sportslogos.net. So they're going to have a patch on their uniforms next season celebrating their 75th anniversary. And this just might be minor quibbling, but it's just something I thought worth pointing out. The Browns didn't exist for 4 years in the 90s.
Oh, really? I thought they were around in the 90s.
95, the 96 season is when they became the Ravens. And then they were brought back in the 99 season. So are we really going to say that they've been around for 75 years when there's a few seasons missing in that time period?
They will.
No, and I get it, and it does make sense to some degree. It's just me nitpicking, I guess,
it's like saying
someone looking at the historical aspect of it. There's some years missing here.
Well, it's like when the Winnipeg Jets will, probably do the same thing eventually, especially when they move, and then the Atlanta Thrashers move back to Winnipeg, or not back, but move to Winnipeg.
Right.
So will they say from the old Jets to the new Jets? Who knows?
Gotcha.
But this is the same thing, but still.
For the record, it's a nice patch.
Yeah, that's all that matters.
It's classy.
As long as it looks good. But yeah, nobody expected the Chiefs to, I should say the Browns to keep it close to the Chiefs. I don't think anybody expected that. I think a lot of people expected that to be a blowout, just because of who they are, how they played.
It's just the reputation, the connotation that the Browns carry. Although it's a guy I know in some Facebook groups, and he's in an admin chat I'm in. He's a big Browns supporter who lives in Pittsburgh, of all places. And he was saying at the beginning of the season, he's like, these guys are not a joke. Keep an eye out on them. And he was, you know what? I'll give him credit. He was right.
Hey. And they weren't a joke. They definitely came out guns a-blazing. and did what they needed to do. Now, unfortunately, their season ended in the second round, but hey, they made it to the second round.
That's not bad at all. That's something you can crank it to.
Oh, yeah, and that's something to build on. That's something to build off of and go from there. Now, for the next game, the Buccaneers and the Saints. Did Drew Brees play his last game? Did Brees do it? Is he done? That's the question.
He didn't look good.
You know, I mean, yeah, I was shocked.
Not everyone can play at an elite level late into their career.
No, not everybody can.
We're seeing it with Ben Roethlisberger right now with the Steelers. We've seen it with Drew Brees. If he does come back, I wouldn't be shocked. But I also wouldn't be shocked if he retired. He seems like the kind of guy who's a class act. He probably knows when to walk away. I don't think he's going to farve anything.
Be around for another 3 decades and hope for the best?
But I mean, Brady's in his own category right now, and
he's been in his own category.
He's someone who can play late into his career at a still decent level. Maybe I don't want to say elite level because he's getting older. He's definitely one of the best right now. So clearly he's doing something right.
Yeah, I mean, Drew Brees is one of those quarterbacks who he had a cannon for an arm, and he knew, you don't play at his level and be able to do what he's done, but he did it. But unfortunately, the last game he only had 1 touchdown and 3 interceptions, and that's what did it for him. Where Brady was Brady,
Yeah.
But no, I think you're right. I don't think Brees is going to farve anything. If he does come back, I don't expect him to be a starter. I think because of, like you said, his age. I mean, he may start games, but not be what he's used to.
It's so weird to look at the age aspect, though, because Brady's a year older than him. Brees is kind of reminiscent at this point of Kurt Warner in his final days in the NFL. That's who he's kind of reminding me of. I mean, he's still he's still someone who can be an on-field leader. He still has something to give to the game. Maybe it is with a team that's struggling and helping them along.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Oh yeah, it's going to be. We'll see when the season ends and preseason begins next season, because that's going to come up. It's going to come up throughout the whole off season. That's going to be the biggest thing, because if he retires, will that open salary cap for the Saints to bring in, high potential?
You're right.
So on to the conference championships. So Patrick Mahomes going back to the Super Bowl.
Clearly, Mahomes is like I said with Brady. He's at a whole other level right now.
But I don't think, though, you can call him. I mean, a lot of people are calling him great. A lot of people are calling him the best. A lot of people are doing that. I mean, I've seen on where was I? I think I was in a Buffalo Wild Wings getting lunch at work, and they brought up the question: is Mahomes as good as Michael Jordan?
Well, those are two different sports.
But that was the question, which kind of irked me because of that reason. In my opinion, you cannot compare football, basketball, even hockey, unless it's like you're saying the Michael Jordan of hockey is Wayne Gretzky, the Wayne Gretzky of basketball is Michael Jordan. But you can't, in my opinion, you can't call Mahomes a great elite quarterback. What, 3 years in? Yes, he has a Super Bowl, but still.
So here's the thing, and this was something I talked about with a friend of mine who listens to the show earlier this week. Mahomes' trajectory is right there with where Brady's was at this time in their careers. So when Brady was the same age, he already won a Super Bowl. Same thing as Mahomes right now. The only difference between them, the biggest glaring difference, is Mahomes was not a late draft pick.
Yeah.
Mahomes was pretty much first round, 10th pick, and he's kind of always had a connotation of destined for greatness, whereas Brady was not. I think Mahomes is a great quarterback. He's shown at a young age he can be a team leader, very similar to Brady at that time. If the Chiefs don't change anything drastic as far as their system, I think he's going to continue to flourish with that team. But Andy Reid could decide to retire any day, and that throws everything out of whack. So
yeah, I'm not saying
I think there's too many variables. I think there's too many variables at this point in time to say he's going to be great, he's going to be the greatest, or he's going to be this or that. Right now, he's clearly playing at a great level, similar to Brady at that age. So, and this is something we'll get more into next period. There's a lot of similarities between the two of them. So it wouldn't surprise me if he was the next Brady-type player in the NFL.
I mean, how many times have we seen first draft picks, even like the first, let's say 15 picks of the first round, just do a big flop?
Well, not everyone can be Ryan Leaf, so.
Well, still.
Some people want to be like Mike. Some people are just Ryan Leaf.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that goes for any sport too, whether it be hockey, baseball, football. You go top draft. I mean, you better be able to perform, because there's only a few times where a first overall has performed well over his career. I mean, I hate to say it because we all know how much I like the Penguins.
Crosby was the person I thought of.
Yeah. Well, Ovechkin. Ovechkin was first in 2004 draft. Or no, 2000. Trying to forget what I know he was drafted the year of the lockout. Still, Ovechkin, Crosby, first overalls, and look where they sit with their careers.
Right. I don't think
at a high level.
I don't think there's so much of a first round curse as long as you can perform up to the level that lives up to that draft pick. But not everyone has the mentality to do that. So and he comes from a sports family. So he knows, as a kid watching his dad play baseball, what it's like to perform at a high level. So, I mean, this is definitely something ingrained in him from a young age.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I just feel he has to, okay, if he goes back to back, okay, then he's putting himself on up there on a pedestal at this point. He'd been to the show twice in a row. He performed. He got the job done. Will he be back next year? Who knows? To the Super Bowl. I mean, that's always a guess every year.
I think it's going to be hard to top Brady's 10 trips to the Super Bowl. I think it's going to be tough to match that. But I think, much like how Brady flourished under the Patriot system with Belichick, if Andy Reid stays for Mahomes' career and everything continues the way it's on, it's not out of the realm of possibility. It's totally possible that he could perform at that level consistently long term, bearing injuries, bearing a change in leadership in that team.
Oh yeah, I mean, but like you said, Tom Brady's going for his 10th trip. He's 10 trips to the Super Bowl. I mean,
yeah, it's crazy.
That's something you really don't hear at all. I mean, he's going for his 7th title. I mean, he already holds the record for most Super Bowls by a player. And the next one under him is, I want to say, Charles Haley, I think I saw. John Elway for appearances, but for championships wise, it was Charles Haley with 5 Super Bowl wins. appearance-wise, it was John Elway with 5.
Okay.
So John Elway, not a shabby quarterback.
Nope, not one at all.
So, and for Brady to not only pass him as well, just for appearances-wise, and hold that record for most Super Bowl wins, which I don't think anybody's going to pass that in general, because 6 alone.
Right.
You see teams with 6, not just one player.
That speaks to. That was part of the discussion. Like, is it the coach or is it the player? And right now, I think we're finding out it's the player, not the coach. Because what did the Pats do this year?
See here. Get mopped.
So I think
they
at this
make the
point,
playoffs.
I think at this point it goes more. The case leans more with Belichick and Brady, more towards Brady, because he still performed at a good level with the new team, with the new system.
And they're going to the Super Bowl the first year.
Right.
So, that says a lot right there. I mean, how often do you go from one system to the next and go to the Super Bowl as a quarterback? Because there's so many different systems with the coaches, and the quarterback's the main guy. And for all that to happen, I mean,
right.
But yeah, no, I feel that it's definitely the quarterback to make that change, and for him to do that, it's definitely Brady with not Belichick. That's for sure. So on that note, being that gotta love the Super Bowl, let's go on to, the end of period 1. Some people do love that horn. On to period 2. Now, this is the Super Bowl matchup, the Chiefs and the Bucs. Now, I did find a nickname that they gave Patrick Mahomes called Showtime. I think I put a link up there on our page for us there.
Yes.
And, of course, Brady, the GOAT.
I really think at this point, just him being on a different team, not the Pats, taking him to the Super Bowl his first year with them. At this point, I think it's earned. He's the GOAT.
Oh, yeah.
It kills me to say it, but he's the GOAT.
Well, yeah, I mean, how many people does it kill to actually say that, just because people hate Brady because he was with the Patriots all that time winning, and he is a winning quarterback. There's no doubt about that.
Let's throw this out there since it's out there and you mentioned it. Do you think Brady would be as hated if he didn't play for Belichick and he had the same amount of success?
Well, the team that had him, probably people would love him just like it is now.
Because I think some of that hate is also because of Belichick and the fact that there were some cheating issues with Belichick and things that they would do. I mean, how much of that hate is towards Brady, and how much of it is residual because of Belichick?
Yeah, no, I mean, that's a good question. I mean, who knows?
Right.
I mean, it's going to be one of those things where, I mean, his career with Belichick may not be what it is today if he was with another team.
Correct.
Because Belichick is as some people call him, a mastermind of plays. And when you add that into the mix, put a quarterback in like Brady, who's trying to prove something and do what he did, it's definitely something it's definitely not the coach, I feel.
Right. So one of the things I thought about with this game, could this be a torch passing game? Could we see the passing of the torch from the Brady era to the Mahomes era? Because I'm watching some of the press interviews that they've been doing jointly on Zoom with the sports channels and ABC and CBS and all that. I've noticed that Brady's been very complimentary about Mahomes. And he's been really talking about how great of a quarterback Mahomes is and how he has a bright future, how he's going to be in the league for a long time. This isn't going to be his only – this is only going to be one of many Super Bowl appearances, is what Brady has been saying about Mahomes. This is clearly, to me, a different Tom Brady in regards to the way he's talking about his opponent. And then that's what made me think of, is this a passing of the torch kind of game?
It could be. I mean, Brady is up there. Who knows if this could be his last year? Who knows if he could retire after the season, for all we know. So you're right. It could be a passing of the torch, which I don't think is a bad pass. I mean, but like I said, Mahomes, to me, he's been in the league a few years. I don't know. I just to me, it just feels he has to prove himself more to be called, like, or not called, but to be classified as into that category as Brady. Okay. That's just my opinion.
Nope, that's what we're here for.
Because if you look at the stats since Mahomes been in, one Super Bowl MVP, he led. He was a touchdown pass leader in 2018, Offensive Player of the Year. And it was the NFL MVP in 2018. Now, if you look at Brady, on the other hand, I mean, his resume, just a few quick points here: 6 Super Bowls, which is still remarkable to even say that he's won. 4 Super Bowl MVPs, 3 NFL MVPs, 2 Offensive Player of the Years, and 4 times he led the season in touchdown passes.
Okay, so with what I was talking about in the first period, so Brady's first Super Bowl win was at the age of 24. Mahomes' first Super Bowl win was at the age of 24. Back-to-back Super Bowls for Brady, 24 – or no, not back-to-back, because they didn't go back until 2003 when he was 26. Mahomes is going back in 2020 at 25. They're again, that they're paralleling right now based on their Brady's age at the time and Mahomes' current age now. It's crazy to look at, but if you go to Football Reference, or Pro Football Reference, I should say, just Google it. It's interesting to see the trajectory of Mahomes compared to where Brady was at the same age. It's eerily similar.
And don't get me wrong, do I hope he hits that mark to where he can be as good as Tom Brady? Sure, because who doesn't want to see high-end quarterbacks perform the way they do? I mean, look at Aaron Rodgers. People say for how smart he is, while playing. Drew Brees.
I think Aaron Rodgers is a head case. So
there's a lot of quarterbacks that are head cases.
He's everything I've ever read about Aaron Rodgers is that he's not a leader, and that he's kind of like a locker room cancer. That he's almost way.
He's good for State Farm.
I don't know if I'd trust him with my insurance, but guys, there's some people I know who listen who are just going to be so mad at me right now.
Yeah, it is what it is.
I'm always healing on someone.
Oh, it is what it is. But I feel this game's going to be a shootout.
That's the hope.
I have a feeling this is going to be a close game because I feel both quarterbacks. I mean, Mahomes at his age, he can pick a defense apart, and so can Brady.
So here's the thing about Mahomes: he's nowhere near his peak yet.
For all we know, he could peak in a few years.
He's still on that.
He's still on the incline. So I don't know. I just feel that it's going to be. I'm not feel, but I'm hoping it's a good game at least.
I think everyone's kind of hoping for that because it is Brady and Mahomes.
Yeah.
It's like Ali and Frazier, or Hogan versus Andre, or give me an MMA one. I'm blanking here.
Randy Couture, Chuck Liddell.
Age-wise, I think that might work. Okay.
You said give me MMA. Those were the only 2 fighters that
I'm trying to think of. Yeah, but that works.
Just because how good they were.
So with Brady being so complimentary towards Mahomes in these media pressers, Brady's also notoriously not a handshaker if he loses.
No, he's not, because he didn't give Nick Foles a handshake.
He's very
nor I think Eli.
He's very Isaiah. I wouldn't shake Eli's hand either. He's very Isaiah Thomas, Detroit Pistons era with the handshaking thing. So I wonder if the Chiefs do win, will Brady shake Mahomes' hand?
That's an interesting question. That could that could go either way.
That should be a bet. That should be something in Vegas people are betting on.
Right?
Because there's all these ridiculous Super Bowl bets. That needs to be a bet.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I mean, hell, when they have a bet on the coin flip, I mean.
That's a 50-50 chance right there. That's
Really? It is? Now, if it lands, like, directly in the grass, straight up in the air.
I wonder what you get if, like, you pick it's going to roll, like, 5 inches and then fall over in its heads. Like, do you get a little extra money because you picked it would roll?
Possibility. This is Vegas. Who knows? But I mean, it's just like the year the Patriots won the Super Bowl against the Falcons, where it went to overtime. Now, yourself, I've always said I want to see an overtime Super Bowl. Right. I've always wanted to see one. And I mean, I didn't care who won that game. I was kind of hoping for the Falcons just because, at the time.
The Pats.
Yeah. So when I, just watching a Super Bowl go to overtime, I was excited. Just like I want to see a Super Bowl in the snow.
Well, that
I think would be fun. Never going to happen, but I think it'd be awesome to watch.
It would be a very cool visual, but
yeah,
they like having the Super Bowl in climate control or Florida or.
Nah, put it in the snow. Lambeau Field.
So who do you think is who's your pick to win?
I'm torn because I'm a 49ers fan, and after what happened last year with the Chiefs, I'd pick the Buccaneers and Brady. But being all the success Brady had, do you really want to see some guy win constantly? So I'm kind of torn between the two. So I'm thinking the Bucs is just my thought, just because Brady, how good he is and how he can play. I'm thinking Bucs, but that's my thought.
I'm kind of leaning towards that as well. I think Brady's experience, not taking anything away from Mahomes.
No, Mahomes is. I mean, he can. He has an arm.
But I think
experience.
It would not surprise me with Brady's experience and with the team he has with the Bucs that it wouldn't surprise me if they won. I mean, I don't have a horse in this race at all. I'm going to watch and hope for a great game. I think for me, it leans more towards the Bucs just because of experience.
Well, think of this though. Look when the Falcons and the Patriots played in the Super Bowl and they were down. And the Patriots were down, and one small move, one small little, something to motivate them, and here comes Brady commanding his troops to win.
Right.
So,
but I would say if the Chiefs get to the Bucs early and put some points on the board, it's going to be harder for the Bucs to come back because Brady isn't always great in a comeback situation. He can fold mentally pretty quickly, and we've seen that in previous Super Bowls.
Oh yeah.
God, he folded to Eli
twice.
How Eli won 2 Super Bowls is beyond me.
You love Eli.
I'm not an Eli Manning fan. He's like the third-rate Manning.
Really? Couldn't tell. But yeah, the thing is though, Brady's been to 9 Super Bowls or 10 now, and he only lost to 3 quarterbacks, or I'm sorry, 2 quarterbacks in 3 losses, 2 to Eli and 1 to Nick Foles.
BD Nick.
So, hey, who would have thought he would have took the Eagles, with the Super Bowl? Who would have thought that?
That ties into some issues with the Eagles, I think.
It's Philadelphia. There's always issues in Philadelphia, whether it be the Eagles, the Flyers, whatever. There's always issues.
I think they should just give Wentz the trade he wants. I think I don't think Wentz is durable enough to be an elite quarterback in the NFL. Not that I think Foles is an elite quarterback, but Foles, with that team, Foles was a good quarterback and a good team leader, and they performed really well for him, which is why they won a Super Bowl with him.
No, I agree.
I think Foles is the epitome of a guy who's good in certain systems, certain play systems, and that's why he hasn't had success in other places. He clearly worked really well under Doug Peterson and thrived under there, whereas he didn't since then, and with the Jaguars and the Bears. And Wentz, I think, has a durability issue where he just can't stay healthy. He's had a lot of injuries in his short career. I think anyone who takes him on is taking on a liability at quarterback, but he wants to be gone from Philadelphia, and I think it's time to just call it.
I just think Wentz has big ego with it because of the success he had, but when his injury hit, I just think it went all to his head.
Well, I would say you have to have some kind of an ego to be an NFL quarterback, clearly, because that is a very high-profile spot in the sport. But I think, he has an ego that might not be justified because he didn't win them the Super Bowl.
No, he didn't. I mean, he may have gotten them. He may have gotten wins to get to the playoffs, but Foles took him, the rest of the way.
Right.
But no, I think Brady. I think if Brady wins his 7th, he might call it.
We're gonna have to wait and see, I think.
Now,
or for those listening after the Super Bowl, you will have seen and you will know what it is, and we won't yet because this is already recorded.
Now, when you were saying about how Brady has changed with the way his attitude is, being complimentary towards Mahomes and that, he actually did you see what he did with Drew Brees after the game?
I did not know.
They actually had a talk on the field, and Brady was actually talking to Brees like a legend to legend, and throwing the ball to his kids. So it's a different look it's a different look for Brady.
I wonder if we're seeing the real Tom Brady.
Maybe
he had to be a certain way under Belichick, and now he can just relax and be himself with the Bucs. There isn't that pressure.
No, because Belichick, he's always had the commanding for excellence,
right?
And now he's on. Now Brady's moved on, and being the quarterback that he still is, making these plays, making these wins, and being the GOAT.
Well, we've been talking about him more than Mahomes, but I think Brady.
I mean, he had more done in his career than.
Well,
Mahomes
he's a
has
polarizing figure in football. I mean, you either love him or you hate him. I think with us, it's not so much we dislike him, and it's not so much we like him. We respect him and what he's accomplished based on his career as a whole. But I think the Brady we saw this year, personality-wise, like you said, totally different than how he was with the Pats.
Oh, yeah, easily. But, yeah, I mean, like I said, nothing taken away from Mahomes just because of, he hasn't had, that long a stint in the NFL as Brady has to accomplish as much as he has. Still a great quarterback.
Very much so, yeah.
It's just, will he get to that point? Will Mahomes get to that level of Brady? Or even Joe Montana or Terry Bradshaw or any of those other quarterbacks? I
think it's absolutely likely to happen. I think he's gonna go down as a legend. I honestly believe that. But that's also bearing. I'm realistic with this. That's bearing injury. That's bearing changes to the team's coaching system. There's a lot that can affect him becoming a legend and not becoming a legend. But now let's keep this in mind. Dan Marino never won a Super Bowl. He's a legend.
Jim Kelly.
See?
So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens on Sunday. So on that note, that is the end of period 2. Now, on to period 3. Now, you go to somebody's house for a Super Bowl. What do you expect to have?
Food.
Some good food. Not just food. You guys have some good food. Now, there's a lot of people out there who go all out for having parties and all that to have different types of food, barbecues, the whole 9 yards. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked that somebody out there is now planning a pig roast for a Super Bowl party.
My inner Homer Simpson just drooled a little bit.
Oh yeah, gotta love pig roasts. Gotta love them. So I decided to see. Now I have my favorites. You have your favorites. Anybody, everybody out there listening, please put your favorites in for Super Bowl foods.
Yeah, hit us up on Twitter, on Facebook. Let us know what you like. And
also, put the recipes down.
Oh, there we go. Not another sports cookbook. It's happening.
Hey, here we go. There it is. There. Right there. We'll get that published. Because a lot of times people come up with the weirdest creations that turn out to be fantastic. So we decided to pick three each on our foods.
And really, we have one that's the same, so we might as well just start with that one jointly.
Well, it is the same, but with some twists to it. So, Jason?
So we're going to talk about wings first, obviously. I think that's the go-to Super Bowl food is wings.
Well, I also heard there's over, 1 point something billion wings consumed for Super Bowl alone.
Let's talk about the fact that when we were kids, no one wanted wings and you could get them for 5 cents, and now you're paying $1 more for a wing now. You say it's a twist. To me, it's another flavor. And we both have experimented with a lot of flavors over the years.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, wings are something you can't go wrong with.
No.
You just can't. You just can't go wrong with them. Whether you deep fry them, bake them, grill them, you just can't go wrong with them.
So one of my favorite flavors of wings, and this is a super regional thing, Middlesworth barbecue wings are fantastic.
I've never had those.
Oh,
I want to have those. I want to have those in the worst way because I hear how good they are.
Underdogs, Paxton Street. Trust me, you will love them.
I gotta see next time I'm out that way. I gotta get something.
They buy the barbecue dust specifically from Middlesworth.
You know what? I wonder if you can grind up the chips and then just kind of fry them in that.
I mean, it'd be more like a breaded wing. But it would be
a Middlesworth the seasoning. Well, guess what? We got an experiment we got to do. I mean, me personally, I love barbecue wings, as you know.
We used to destroy Old Bay wings.
Oh, Old Bay
and garlic wings.
Oh, the garlic parm.
No, we used to remember. Corky's used to do just garlic.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and they were garlic.
Yeah.
Oh, they were garlic. As soon as you didn't even have to open the container. You just smell them. You just how much the car smelled of garlic for days.
So for me, I want a little heat. I'm more flavor than heat at this point in my life. Whereas a younger man, I was more heat than flavor. A solid mild wing is good with me. I like a buffalo blue wing as well because I'm a big blue cheese dressing person with them.
I love blue cheese.
Now
with your blue cheese, do you like the blue cheese chunky?
Yes.
Or like a fine
No, I want chunks of blue cheese in there.
Where you're gnawing on a block of it.
Not that much, but I want chunks in there. Yeah.
Yeah. Got to go with the chunky.
Now, I see on yours you have a specific type of wing, so let's talk about that.
Well, I was going through a list and I saw this, and I definitely want to do this. Maple bacon wings. Now, on the Facebook page, we can post the recipe up for this, and it looks extremely simple to do. It's the way they look. One, you can't go wrong with bacon. You can't go wrong with it. And the fact that barbecue, gotta love barbecue, or even just whatever you want to try it with. I mean, the recipe is just simple. just a few ingredients and have fun.
I have pretty much all those ingredients too.
Exactly. So definitely an experiment to do, just like with the middlewursts, like with the chips itself.
Yeah.
Grind them up and try them out. But I saw that, and that just caught my eye just because I want to try it now. For how much we love wings.
Oh, yeah. Wings are an essential for Super Bowl, I believe.
Oh, wings just are essential for anything.
God, I remember, we used to go to, all of us used to go to Aruga's and just get wings.
Oh, good old Arugas. Well, for UFC fights, I used to get 50 wings.
Yeah, I mean, you went to pick them up in the middle of a torrential rainstorm.
Yeah. We
had to pull over for a couple minutes just to ride it out.
We had food though.
We did.
Yeah, 50. I remember. We always get 2 types: barbecue and mild, and a big ass thing of blue cheese.
Yeah.
Like a giant 20-ounce cup of blue cheese they would give us.
Just took it in my veins.
Where's the IV? Just sit there.
So one of your picks kind of ties into the wings. So why don't you go next?
What's that? The buffalo chicken dip?
Yep.
Well, buffalo chicken dip, you can't go wrong with that. It's always a good thing to have. I mean, that always goes quick. I mean, I know every place I've gone to that had buffalo chicken dip, there's barely any left at the end of the night.
That's what Jamie's making Sunday, actually.
I'll be over. Make extra.
Hers is an all killer, no filler kind of buffalo dip too.
All killer? Do you mean let's add some Reaper into it?
No, no. Lots of really good pieces of chicken. Like some buffalo dips I've had, they're more cheese and dressing than they are chicken.
Yeah.
This I would say is more chicken than cheese and dressing, and it's fantastic.
Once again, I'll be over.
I have definitely had leftovers for quesadillas.
Ooh, that'd be good. But yeah, no, I've seen some people do buffalo chicken dip. They add like Reapers into it, and
ooh,
yeah. I mean, I give
no bueno.
I was at the one beef jerky place in Pottstown that's out by Philly, and I bought my buddy that I work with Reaper jerky, and I hear him just outside my office, just like groaning. Well, I walk out. Now it's beef jerky. Beef jerky. I'm one of these people who can finish a bag in like 5 minutes because you're not or less because you're not thinking of what it is. You're just thinking it's beef jerky. It tastes good. You're just going to devour the whole bag.
Well, hold on. Sidebar here. How many road trips have we gone on where all we had to eat on the road trip was beef jerky?
More than we can count.
Let's stop at the gas station and get beef jerky and Mountain Dew. All right, sounds good.
Hey, well, how many times are you hungry? No, I'm good. We'll come back out with the big sticks of beef jerky.
The last time we went to a Phillies game, we both got the.
Mm-hmm.
I think I got the Randy Savage size Slim Jim, and you got the next size down Slim Jim. We both had Mountain Dews.
Yep. Oh yeah. But anyways, I walk out to see what's going on. Now he shaves his head.
Okay.
So all I saw was his whole head be red and sweating.
Like as red as this jersey red?
Pretty much. And he looked at me and goes, "I done messed up." And now in a way of he could barely talk, but he said afterwards, "Yeah, I didn't realize how much I've eaten just because of how good it tastes."
I know a guy who makes Reaper sauce.
No,
He grows his own. Actually, he's one of the people when Matt was on. When Matt was talking about the Diamond City War Machines, one of the guests on his show. Eric on that team makes his own Reaper sauce. He grows his own Reapers. Everything he does is homemade at his place.
No, I mean, don't get me wrong. I like some heat, but not enough to make me become a dragon. But if you really want to get, I mean, I've seen people do that with buffalo chicken dip to add a lot of that stuff in.
I think buffalo chicken dip is one of those things you shouldn't mess with. I mean, it's perfect the way it is. It's one of those.
I think it is too.
It's one of those few tailgate snacks, I guess we want to call it, that as simple as it is, it's perfect being as simple as it is. You don't need to dress it up any more than cheese, sauce, dressing, chicken.
Oh yeah, it's definitely something that's quick, it's simple, and I mean, a few ingredients and boom, you're done for something great. So what's next on yours?
So one I regularly make for Super Bowl, and I've made for office Super Bowl parties, sliders.
Can't go wrong with sliders.
My sliders tend to be a big hit. I've definitely had to make 3 batches of a dozen for work because they would go that quick. Sometimes I like to do cheeseburger, and sometimes I like to do cheesesteak sliders.
Either way. Now with your cheesesteaks, how do you do them?
Okay, so first off, I'm typically a Cheese Whiz guy, but for the sake of how I make the sliders, it would be a huge mess with cheesesteak or with Whiz. So I go American because I finish them off in the oven.
Gotcha.
So that the bun is nice and crispy on top. I use a Hawaiian roll. I use the Hawaiian dinner rolls, have them get the sheet and just have them, and then put the bottoms in the bake pan, and then put the meat on top, and then the cheese, and then the top of the buns, and bake them like 5 minutes.
Cookbook.
So that the cheese is melty and the tops are nice and crispy.
Hey, no, man, sliders are just something you can't go wrong with either. I mean, it's just it's quick, hand foods. I mean,
you'd think it's quick, but I put a lot of time into it because you know me.
Yeah.
Because I saute the onions and peppers.
Get them nice and caramelized.
Right, and butter and salt and pepper, and then.
Well, you have to. You have to get them nice and caramelized.
Well, that's not in the actual recipe. It's just something I do on my own.
Yeah, but still, though, I mean, you almost have to.
And I would say for the cheesesteak one specifically, it's better to dice them than to leave them sliced, because for the sake of messiness, to dice them so it's not falling apart right away.
I think the messier the better. Nothing like having a chicken wing run right down your shirt, just like a slider. All that food just go right down, especially at an ESPN zone.
Yeah. So, what's your next one?
Queso.
Nice.
You got to have a good queso dip. Chips are one thing, but if you have a good, you got to have something good to dip them with. And who doesn't love a good cheese, cheese salsa, queso? You can't beat it.
So I used to work with a guy. Well, we still work at Revenue together, but we're in different bureaus now. And he would do a queso with sausage in it.
Oh, I've never thought of that.
Oh, dude, it's
great. Now I have to.
It's definitely. See, this is why I'm fat. Well, it is amazing.
I mean, we both like to eat, obviously.
It is amazing.
What type of sausage? Like smoked or regular? Or
it was crumbled up. I never asked.
So it's more like a burger. Okay. So basically, just takes it out of the casing and just
either takes it out of the casing or buys it pre-cased.
I got to try that now. I have to try that. Oh, thanks. Now, hey, you know what? Tomorrow, I'm actually going to the butcher.
There you go.
I can get it then. Oh, I definitely got to try that, though. Oh, that sounds
really good. It's very good.
Oof. Yeah, but I mean, like I said, queso, it's just something that you have to you have to have it.
You can't, and if you really want to be like really easy with the queso, just buy some Velveeta and salsa or Rotel chilies, and
that's all you need. That's all you need. I mean, and just pick the salsa you want. You want it flaming hot, where you become a dragon and shoot to the moon. Go for it.
I would say probably some of the best queso I've had, and I hate saying it, is at Moe's. If you've ever had Moe's Southwest Grill, their queso is pretty freaking good.
Yes, it is. Yes, I do have to agree with that. Yes, it is.
And
It's been a long time since I've eaten there, but yeah, it is.
We've gotten queso at actual Mexican restaurants that wasn't as good as
It's
most.
weird, isn't it? It's weird how some Mexican places you go to, you think, oh, this is going to be great. But then it's like, really?
The worst are the ones, so sidebar, the worst are the ones who make you pay for your salsa and chips.
Yeah.
Where it's not a complimentary thing on the table. You got to pay extra for it.
Yeah, it seems like the ones where they offer the complimentary ones are like the best.
Well, to me, it just shows they care about the customers a little bit more instead of trying to make money. They're willing to take a loss on the complimentary salsa and chips because they know you're going to make it up somewhere else.
Oh, yeah. And, well, what was it at Moe's? You can go up as many times as you want for salsa.
Yeah.
So, you know, and, yeah, you got to have a good sirloin chip, but salsa is what makes it. Queso, regular salsa, whatever. I mean, you got to have it.
Right.
Yours?
My last one is pizza. You can't go wrong with pizza for the Super Bowl.
Now, what pizzas would you have?
Like specifically, what type of pizza would I have?
Well, because, everybody has a variety. Some people have cheese, pepperoni, meat lovers.
My go-to, if it's just for me, it's going to be sausage and onions.
Good pick.
A lot of people like meat lovers. Meat lovers is okay, but some places go a little too much with the meat lovers, and then your pizza's falling apart. Even if you fold it, it's falling apart. Like pizza's supposed to be not as much work to eat. In my opinion, you should be able to fold it and eat it, and you can't do that with some certain places meat lovers. Go ahead.
Now, what's your style pizza? Do you like New York style or Chicago?
I don't really have a preference. I mean, obviously, most places do New York style. I've had Chicago style, and I really enjoy it, but I'm one of the only people I think I know who like Chicago style outside of people who are from Chicago. Which I know a few people from Chicago who I've asked them, which one do you prefer? Do you like Lou Malnati's or do you like this? And I've gotten so many different answers over the years.
Right? I can only imagine. But no, I mean, yeah, pizza is just definitely a big go-to.
And I would say this,
you can't go wrong with.
It's very rare that you find bad pizza.
It is rare. It is rare, yes. But it's out there.
And I know some people are like really picky about where they get their pizza. I'm not. I mean, if someone has Domino's, it's still pizza. If someone has Papa John's, it's still pizza. Me, I definitely like a straight up old school Italian pizzeria.
With the brick oven?
With the brick oven.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, sometimes, yeah, I mean, my wife's big on pizza. She loves her pizza.
Who doesn't?
Well, she really, she will specifically go to the one place over and over again just to get a pizza. Despite there's one 5 minutes up the road, she'll go 10 minutes, 15 minutes the other way just to get a pizza.
To be fair, there's a lot of pizza places near us, and there's only a few that are,
I think there's 11.
A certain level above other places.
I think there's 11. I counted at one point, just in our valley alone.
Since we're talking pizza, oh my God, this is going to be super, super regional to just where we're at. Let's talk about my owns.
Oh, jeez. Oh, God, my owns.
So we got to break this down for anyone who isn't from our small area. My owns is a square pizza, but it's not a thick crust pizza.
It's not Sicilian.
It's a square, thin pizza, and the cheese is American cheese.
On a sourdough bread. Or I should say sourdough crust.
Right.
It is delicious, and you will burn the top of your mouth off. But that's what you expect.
It is far better than it has any right to be.
And the thing is, though, you expect to burn the top of your mouth with the cheese. You expect it. It's just one of those things to where if you don't do that, you're just like, what did I just have?
Honest to God, just talking about it, I can taste it.
Yep, I'm actually picturing in my head
because it's such a unique taste.
Well, the whole place is unique in general. I mean,
because it looks the exact same way it did when our parents would get it.
Pretty much. Well, the thing is, though, in the place that they make it, they make it in actual stove ovens, not in a regular pizza ovens. They actually bring it up from a basement using a dumbwaiter system.
Yes, they do.
So
I think the Pac-Man game has been there since the 80s.
You can always get Gears, iced tea or Gears orange drink there.
They've never changed the lighting in there. It's still it's like 1970s dim.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, and the thing is, though, that pizza you can go to like the local grocery store and get.
Yeah.
As well. They make it and they sell it to them.
Wednesdays and Fridays only.
Yes, only. And if they tell you to be there at a specific time, you be there at a specific time. If you're there early, you're going to wait.
What? Every time I've gotten it, I've just gone in and ordered.
You almost have, I can't remember the last time I walked into that place. I cannot remember.
For sure, at least a year. I don't get it too often because I'm the only one who eats it. But at least a year ago for me. And I had to get half. So again, same as my regular pizza order, sausage and onion for me there as well. That's just something my dad got me into. But I had to get a half sausage, onion, half cheese because everyone else at the house wanted to try it and no one liked it. I'm like, I should have just got what I wanted, but being a dad and a husband.
Yeah. Yeah. My house is just unique. So unique. It's just, sourdough bread, American cheese.
But God, it's good.
The combo works. The combo definitely works.
So I would say after everyone listens to this, please hit us up on Facebook, hit us up on Twitter. Let us know what your go-to Super Bowl recipes or foods are. Let's talk about this.
And if you have the recipe, put it up.
Yeah, share it. We'll share ours.
Share with everybody.
Yours. Sounds awful.
Absolutely. Just a tad, because that I've thought the same thing too.
As soon as I said it, I realized what I was saying.
How many times have we done that?
Too many times.
Too many times we can't count. So, on that note, that is the end of period 3. Oh, man. Food.
Great. It's midnight and I'm hungry now.
Sheets run?
No.
How many times have we done that?
Too many times as well.
Are you hungry? Yeah. Sheets run? No. Yeah, let's go. Where are you guys going? Sheets. It's midnight. And?
They're open 24 hours.
Hey, it works.
So let's get to some plugs here before we wrap up the show. So first off, check out Brad and Brig from the Baseball Together podcast. Join them every week for fun baseball talk. You can find them at anchor.fm/baseball-together and wherever else you find your podcasts. Next, check out Matt and Chris on the A Show, where every other week, they are joined by a guest and draft a roster of wrestlers that they each book one wrestling show where you, the listener, can vote on who booked the best show. Also, check out Matt's solo show, By the Numbers, where he interviews the individuals whose matches he's refereed. You can find the A Show and By the Numbers on CKC Radio and wherever else you can get your podcasts. Thank you for joining us for episode lucky number 13 of the Not Another Sports Podcast. You can find us online at facebook.com/notanothersportspod. Feel free to like, comment, or message us. The Not Another Sports Podcast is available for streaming or download at anchor.fm, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Podcast Addict, and wherever else you get your podcast. Please don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review. I'm Jason.
I'm David.
And with that, we'll talk to you next time.
See you later.